Retention transforms the body from the inside out. When energy stops leaking, the system begins to rebuild itself at the cellular level. Hormones balance, oxygen delivery improves, and the body learns to operate with precision instead of exhaustion. The strength you feel is not a burst, it's endurance that builds quietly with time. Retention activates the mechanisms responsible for recovery and stability. Muscles repair faster, focus lasts longer, and fatigue fades slower. It's not just willpower that grows, it's capacity. The same energy once wasted on impulse now fuels performance, coordination, and drive. Retention doesn't just enhance stamina. It changes how your body generates it. A corrupted body loses its defense before it loses its strength. Overindulgence weakens immunity, disrupts hormones, and drains minerals that sustain energy. The result is sluggish recovery and shallow power. Retention reverses that decay by restoring integrity to your system. Section 1: Metabolic Efficiency. Retention refines how the body handles energy. When life force is conserved, metabolism stops working in survival mode and begins working in precision mode. The constant hormonal spikes that come from overstimulation calm down, allowing the system to use fuel more intelligently. Instead of burning through nutrients and crashing afterward, the body learns to convert them steadily. This is metabolic efficiency, not just eating better, but processing better. Retention helps the body switch from erratic energy bursts to sustained vitality. Every meal becomes fuel for endurance rather than indulgence. You begin to feel power that lasts, not power that fades. Inside every cell, mitochondria serve as engines, producing ATP, the molecule that keeps the body moving. When hormones fluctuate wildly, these engines misfire. They waste energy and produce fatigue faster. Retention stabilizes the hormonal rhythm, creating an environment where mitochondria can operate with consistency. Glucose regulation evens out, oxygen use becomes more efficient, and the entire metabolic chain gains order. The energy you produce stops spiking and dropping. It begins to flow continuously. This is why people on retention often describe lasting stamina. The system isn't burning out, it's learning to endure. When the body no longer burns energy wastefully, strength feels different. You stop feeling tired after short bursts of effort because the internal engine doesn't overheat. The nervous system adapts to slower, stronger waves of energy rather than rapid highs and lows. Retention teaches the body how to sustain tension without breaking. This makes performance, physical or mental, more consistent. You begin to rely less on stimulants or motivation because your body itself becomes the source of momentum. Retention creates a rhythm of energy that feels grounded, steady, and unshakable. The fatigue that once felt normal becomes rare. Over time, this efficiency extends beyond biology. The same energy that fuels your body also shapes your focus, emotion, and drive. When the body runs clean, the mind follows. Retention transforms the entire system into a balanced ecosystem where nothing leaks, nothing wastes, and nothing collapses. Your energy becomes renewable because your choices no longer sabotage it. The longer you maintain this state, the more effortless performance becomes. You don't push for stamina. Stamina becomes your default. Retention proves that endurance isn't something to force, it's something to sustain through balance, rhythm, and discipline that starts within. Section 2: Endocrine Synchrony. Retention rebalances the system that governs every major hormonal signal in the body. The hypothalamus, pituitary, and gonads form a communication chain that controls how energy is created, used, and restored. When this chain is overstimulated through constant indulgence, it becomes erratic. The messages between organs lose precision, leading to fatigue, mood swings, and loss of focus. Retention repairs this command chain by reintroducing order. Each organ begins to operate in rhythm again, sending signals with accuracy rather than urgency. The result is stability that radiates through every system, mind, body, and energy working as one disciplined unit. When this balance returns, the hormonal landscape transforms. Testosterone rises naturally, not as a spike, but but as a steady current that fuels vitality throughout the day. Cortisol, the stress hormone, stops flooding the body unnecessarily. Growth hormone begins cycling correctly, repairing tissue and supporting recovery, even during rest. Retention doesn't force this change, it allows the body's natural hierarchy to re-establish itself. This harmony strengthens every physical process. Muscles recover faster, focus lasts longer, and energy sustains itself without artificial triggers. Retention's true strength lies in how it teaches the body to regulate, not to react. With synchronization restored, stamina stops depending on bursts of adrenaline. The body learns to hold energy rather than spend it in anxious flashes. Drive no longer feels forced, it flows quietly beneath the surface, ready when needed. This is the essence of endurance, readiness without restlessness. Retention eliminates the hormonal chaos that drains ambition and replaces it with steady purpose. The man who once relied on external motivation begins operating from internal balance. His actions become consistent because his biology has stopped betraying him. The body that used to burn out now sustains its own rhythm of power. Ancient traditions understood this as the merging of physical and mental discipline. Modern science calls it hormonal balance, but the principle is the same. When the endocrine system functions in harmony, the mind becomes sharper and the body becomes more precise. Retention forges this alignment by protecting the raw material that fuels hormonal health. Instead of depletion, regeneration becomes the default. The difference between chaos and composure is communication, and retention restores that communication between every part of your being. This synchronization is what separates momentary strength from lasting resilience. True stamina is not created through constant exertion. It is sustained through equilibrium. Retention builds this by turning your body into an ecosystem that no longer restarts from scratch after every drain. Energy moves predictably, recovery happens quickly, and performance becomes repeatable. You stop feeling exhausted because your system stops leaking effort. The hormones that once competed now collaborate. Every beat of your heart, every breath, and every thought carries the rhythm of control. Retention perfects this synchrony until the body's readiness feels effortless. Not driven by intensity, but maintained by harmony. Section 3. Neuromuscular adaptation. When retention becomes consistent, the nervous system begins to rewire itself. The energy once lost through constant release starts circulating through the spinal column and brain, strengthening the communication lines between thought and movement. This process heightens neural conductivity, allowing the brain to send signals to muscles with greater speed and precision. The body stops feeling sluggish and starts responding instantly. This connection between nerve and muscle turns each motion into an expression of control rather than effort. Retention builds this bridge over time, transforming reaction into instinct. Movement becomes more efficient because mind and body are no longer working separately. At the biological level, retention enhances the neurotransmitter acetylcholine, the chemical that drives motor function and muscular endurance. When energy is scattered, acetylcholine levels drop, leading to fatigue, slower reflexes, and uncoordinated movements. Retention steadies the brain's chemistry, allowing acetylcholine to transmit signals cleanly across neural pathways. Muscles contract with greater strength and recover more effectively after use. This is why those who practice long-term retention often report sharper agility and endurance that outlasts their younger selves. The system begins running at full voltage, not because it is forced to, but because it finally has the charge to do so. As this neural efficiency develops, awareness expands into motion itself. You start feeling your muscles activate with precision, not strain. There's less wasted movement and more accuracy. The nervous system no longer hesitates or overcompensates. It acts with balance. Every step, lift, or breath feels unified, as if all systems are communicating perfectly. Retention heightens proprioception, the body's sense of where it is in space. That awareness makes coordination effortless. What once required concentration becomes natural. This is not only physical refinement but a neurological awakening, the body rediscovering its full design. Over time, this connection breeds endurance that feels different from adrenaline. It is calm strength, power that doesn't rush, fatigue that arrives slower, recovery that feels immediate. The nervous system learns to regulate tension with precision, sending just enough energy to complete a task without overexertion. Retention eliminates the jittery bursts of energy that lead to burnout. The body starts conserving energy through intelligence rather than force. Muscles and neurons communicate in rhythm, making strength feel smooth instead of rigid. This quiet coordination becomes the foundation of physical mastery. This neuromuscular harmony reflects the same principle seen in ancient martial training and modern sports science alike. Efficiency over effort. When the nervous system and muscle fibers act as one, endurance becomes the byproduct of awareness. Retention is what sustains this awareness, feeding it with consistent voltage instead of temporary highs. Each movement turns into a demonstration of discipline made visible. The man who practices retention stops fighting his body and starts commanding it. His energy flows through him like current through a circuit, clean, sharp, and unstoppable. This is not just stamina, it is precision in its highest form.